Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. So this is a quick one that we want to get up just to get a quick little point and just let things settle in because they do need to settle in. And again, I want to thank everybody that's supporting us over on Patreon. Again, all the videos go up on Patreon. You can watch the ones that go up on Patreon that go up anywhere else without being a Patreon. So some of them are not Patreon only, and there are also unique Patreon only. About every couple of days, 2-3 days, there'll be Patreon only material in which we are able to speak a little bit more bluntly. And do make sure you are subscribed with that little bell clicked on all the channels. And right now it does seem like they are intentionally suppressing EEARTS maybe a little bit more than Evolutionary. So another thing that they do is basically only give us a small window before they start shutting us down technically. So I wanted to get this out because, again, everything that you see happening over in Israel right now is not just planned for Israel. And in fact, it's every bit as bad what they have planned for the U.S. and other NATO countries as what is going on in Israel. It's just one piece to the bigger puzzle. And just as China has said, Taiwan's not really important. You know, what's really important is for them to control all of the United States, Canada, Australia, any 1, 2, or 3 of those in order to feed their population. And again, that goes back to an official statement in 2005 by top-level military. So this right here is Ben Bergquam. And it's from Real America's Voice. He is over here in this tiny little border town of Lukeville, Arizona. As you see, it's very close to a reservation area and basically just a little bit southwest of Phoenix. Wow. What's happening here is pretty typical, and so we might be, because of the way the news and the media is giving it, thinking all the border intrusions are coming through in Texas. No, not the case. It's the entirety of the border, and it's not just the Mexican border. It's also up in Canada, and it's not just there. There are actually coming over in boats from Cuba and have been for a very, very long time. This is an invasion, plain and simple. Absolute invasion, and they are just waiting for their cue. It probably won't be too long before we know what that looks like, and in fact, it could actually be already given with the situation in Israel. So what he's showing is a little outpost here, which he's told he can't be there. Now, wait a minute. He's a U.S. citizen. Yeah, he's told he can't be there. No U.S. citizens are allowed here. He gets basically told this by the Border Patrol area. But what does he see? He sees inside military-age males, for the most part, the vast majority, military-age males, coming in from African nations and also from some Latin American countries. But the biggest contingent of people that are coming in right now are from Syria. Now, do you think there's a hatred of the U.S. and NATO in Syria? Absolutely. Syria has been bombed for 10 years. It's people have lost everything they've ever owned. Their homes are gone. There could be family heirlooms and things that have been passed down from generation to generation. That's all gone. Do you know what type of desperation that breeds? Do you know what type of anger that breeds? And they're coming over the borders in record numbers, 500 over this tiny little outpost in just a day's time. 500 organized, trained people. And again, we don't know what type of training they've received before coming in. And even one single deranged person with an AK or an AR can cause a ton of damage. This is what we have to understand when you have, 500 people coming through in a day, that very well may be being armed after the fact, because who is organizing this? He's watching this and he's seeing it's the cartels. The cartels, as we know, have been known to run people illegally over the border for a very long time. Of course, they also run illegal substances across the border. And obviously, we start thinking of narcotics, but we can also think about guns and weapons. The cartels easily can have caches of guns and weaponry in various places. If you've ever done any exploring in the desert, it's pretty easy to find places to hide stuff. And you might not think so, but yes, there are nooks and crannies, there are caves, and then you could always dig and cover things up to be uncovered at a different time. Yeah, this is so serious, and people are waking up. That's the good part. The time. We are running out of preparation time. This is the bottom line. We were just watching one of our favorite Vedic astrologers, and she was just going over key charts and saying that it looks like November might be more intense than even October, but October is absolutely going to be a game changer as we head towards that eclipse. You see what's happening here. This is clearly an invasion, and this is Laura Loomer, investigative journalist. This is how she proclaims herself, so to speak. Many of you might be very familiar with her, former Project Veritas operative. Stay out of major cities. There's going to be major, massive terrorist attack in big cities over the next 14 months. We have been infiltrated. Our borders are open, and the push to create a global Islamic caliphate has been activated. You don't want to be in major cities. Now, this is what we've been saying since 2017 openly on YouTube. So, yeah, we've known this a very long time. And in fact, last night, I had another, little snippet of seeing a scene playing out that feels like it may just be a matter of a week or two away, maybe a month or two away, but certainly very, very soon. This plan, as some are saying, again, in the comments, you still see people that are asleep. But you see others saying, you think it's going to be that long, over 14 months? Well, it's starting. And again, we don't use any of these people as sources, just pointing out more people are waking up to what's going on. And the signs, they leave their calling cards everywhere. This is over here, a painting at the entrance of the Supreme Court. Now, this is in Israel, the Israeli Supreme Court. Who do we see here? We see the Rothschilds, of course, with Shimon Peres, Isaac Rubin, and the designers. And it's pyramidal, and we got what looks to be a little hole or an all-seeing eye, perhaps. It's all been planned for a very long time. This representative, Anna Paulina Luna, calls for the UN to be defunded. I guess, what can we do? We could take a little bit late. It should have been so long ago. People have been saying this since the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. And now that we finally have people that they are seeing it in front of their very own faces, and it's going to affect their very own families, now they're finally calling for it. Well, I guess better late than never.
I don't know about that saying. I think more often than not, they're just, making these statements to gain favor. I think the drive is something that we are unable to see. I'm looking at this video in Arizona. I can see, officers with clothes on, their clothes, and it's like obviously they're tied into somewhere in the United States. Where are the officials, the sheriffs, the governors of Arizona? And they're just laid back. They're letting this happen. They're letting it occur. To me, every single person in a political chair, political office, even obviously down to our own law enforcement, they're allowing this to happen. They're complacent. They're just They're the ones guarding, it's the wolf guarding the door. It's just, it's too late. So better late than never. I don't know. I think it's just, for them, it's more of a formality to say, hey, well, maybe we should do this. It doesn't really mean anything anymore. These people that are at higher levels that could do something are not doing something. And to me, when I see something, if I don't make other people aware of the dangers, I am just as guilty of that, allowing those dangers to happen. To me, that's karmic repercussion on me. I'm never going to sit there and watch while somebody else gets hurt and just simply not say anything because I'm getting paid off through the back door. I mean, this is at every single level. This is just really disgusting.
Just want to reiterate, she said 14 months. That takes us to January of 2025. And no, again, we don't follow Laura Loomer. We're just aware who she is. But it's just pointing out that somebody else is pointing out, the fact that what's going on here is so obvious and so big. You just have 14 months to realize these DEA, GEL numbers. 14 months to realize the United States of America having 99 million citizens, where at the moment 337 million. What happens to 238 million people? Where'd they go? I'll leave that up to you and look forward to your guys' comments. Again, this is time to come together. As much as possible, work with your neighbors, work with your friends. Absolutely. I would, if you could, just look at what's happening to Gaza. I would get out of the major cities, especially, major NATO cities. It's not a good situation to be in as much as you can, and realize, no, things aren't just going to die down. Oh, no. They don't have... Well, they go by the stars. They go by the astrology, and the astrology is showing that this is the time, and this is the time that they will take advantage of the positioning of the stars and planets to enact, obviously, their next stage in global control. So as always, guys, we love you and pray that you all be kept safe in these times. Try to awaken as many as possible. And again, don't get caught up in the hatred. That's what they're banking on. Random acts of kindness is something that really puts a wrench into their plans.
Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.